Brendan Carr, chairman of the Federal Communications Commission and a Trump appointee, has ordered an investigation into the sponsorship practices of NPR and PBS, raising critical questions about the future of public broadcasting. As reported by the New York Times in an article by Benjamin Mullen and David McCabe on January 30, 2025, the inquiry will scrutinize whether NPR and PBS stations have violated federal regulations by airing sponsorship messages that may resemble commercial advertisements. Carr has positioned this investigation as a necessary step in determining whether taxpayer funding should continue to support public media, but critics argue it is a politically motivated assault on journalistic independence. At the heart of this controversy is the evolving regulatory landscape surrounding non-commercial broadcasters. Under U.S. law, NPR and PBS are prohibited from airing traditional commercial advertisements, but are allowed to acknowledge sponsors through underwriting messages. Over the years, the FCC has loosened restrictions, allowing these messages to provide additional details about sponsors, a crucial financial lifeline as public funding for media has declined. Carr, however, contends that some stations may have crossed a regulatory boundary, turning these sponsorships into full-fledged commercial advertising, which could jeopardize their non-commercial status. This investigation does not exist in a vacuum. It aligns with broader Republican efforts to strip funding from public broadcasting, with bills such as the No Propaganda Act and the Defund NPR Act gaining traction in Congress. Conservative lawmakers, including Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana and Representative Jim Banks of Indiana, have long sought to dismantle public media, arguing that NPR and PBS exhibit a left-leaning editorial bias. The FCC inquiry under Carr's leadership appears to dovetail with these legislative attacks, potentially setting the stage for the most significant challenge to public broadcasting in decades. The response from NPR, PBS, and media watchdog organizations has been swift. Catherine Maher, CEO of NPR, stated that the organization is confident its underwriting practices are fully compliant with federal law. PBS similarly defended its adherence to regulations, emphasizing its commitment to non-commercial educational content. Two Democratic FCC commissioners, Anna Gomez and Jeffrey Starks, issued statements condemning the investigation as an abuse of regulatory power. Seth Stern, an advocate with the Freedom of the Press Foundation, went further, arguing that Carr's actions are not just about underwriting rules. They represent a broader attempt to undermine independent journalism. Carr's tenure at the FCC has been marked by a pattern of regulatory interventions that appear to disproportionately benefit powerful corporate and political interests while applying scrutiny to organizations critical of the Trump-aligned right. His decision to investigate NPR and PBS fits into a larger trend of using regulatory power to pressure media institutions. The FCC's investigation also mirrors tactics seen in Hungary, where Viktor Orbán has weaponized government oversight to marginalize independent media while strengthening state-aligned outlets. The parallels are striking. An aggressive campaign to question the legitimacy of non-state-affiliated news, coupled with efforts to defund or otherwise constrain their reach, has been a hallmark of authoritarian media control worldwide. Beyond the political ramifications, this investigation poses an existential question about the role of public media in the United States. Public broadcasting was established with the mission of providing high-quality, non-commercial programming that serves the public interest. Defunding it could leave millions of Americans, particularly in rural and underserved communities, without access to educational content, emergency broadcasts, and in-depth journalism free from corporate influence. If NPR and PBS are found to be in violation, stricter underwriting regulations could be imposed, further straining their already limited budgets. Should funding be cut entirely, these institutions would face an uphill battle to survive in a media landscape dominated by corporate conglomerates. Carr's aggressive posture toward public media is part of a broader ideological campaign that seeks to delegitimize any institution not aligned with right-wing political and corporate interests. The investigation into NPR and PBS may be framed as a technical regulatory review, but its deeper implications suggest a deliberate effort to erode one of the last bastions of independent journalism in the United States. As the battle over public media unfolds, the outcome will shape not only the fate of NPR and PBS, but also the broader fight for a free and independent press in an era of escalating political interference. Please subscribe to the Intellectualist's new YouTube channel, where we present insightful videos analyzing the current events shaping the world. Turn on notifications to receive the latest updates from the channel.